Perfect. So my name is Ana Plasencia. I'm part of the global innovation team working specifically in human insights or consumer insights. My area of specialty is mostly innovation, focused on the front end. My charge is to help the teams discover where the opportunities lie, where the best places for us to innovate, but also bring the best of the outside world in terms of capability and partnerships, on top of building capabilities that the teams can leverage to thrive and become real innovators. And I would say from the first time that I started interacting and running research with you guys and how we do it today, it's been a whole evolution. From starting leveraging trends and insights in a specific way to get early signals of what potential innovation spaces could be. I would say we were able to build a really strong relationship and collaboration that now we do iterations, we do collaboration sessions, we do brainstorming, and we find better ways to solve problems together. So it's not just the evolution of how you as logs have changed through the time, but how we have interacted with each other has been a major change for good, of course. The support has been massive. As you rightly said, innovation is one of those things that sometimes it's in the front of the line, it's top in the agenda, but sometimes it gets deprioritized. In our specific case, innovation has always been one of our growth levers, and different from what others might do, we keep putting all of our efforts and passion to make it work. We know that the world is changing, consumers are changing, the landscape is changing, and it's more important than ever to be able to keep up and understand what is happening around us and what's the best way to address and understand consumers. I would say how you've helped us doing that has been to always keep us focus on what really is important and what are those conversations around certain topics and certain potential innovation spaces for us to be able to tap consistently on trend work, on signals, as I'd mentioned before, to dig deeper into meanings, to dig deeper into finding the whys behind some of this behavior changes have been kind of like our anchor to understand and make decisions of what's the best way forward on where to put our efforts in terms of innovation. I feel like, and we all have heard the term the fuzzy front end. I think you've helped to make it less fuzzy and to give us direction on what are the right areas we should prioritize, or at least to have a point of view of what to try first, to then build hypotheses, build questions, brainstorm if those are the right places with data, which is the most important part of it, to make decisions informed with validated insights that will help us move forward. So it's been one of the big supports that we had to keep innovation as our heart in marketing and to keep moving forward as a priority. Oh, where to start? In so many ways, and it goes in hand with that flexibility and diversity of outputs you guys provide. Just to mention some examples, it has helped us to get quicker insights around behaviors. We leverage a lot data around jobs to be done. We leverage a lot understanding consumer tensions and human truths. And the way that has enabled or speed up our front end process is to bring true behavior data into our front end framing, which is not usually very easy, or it comes more in small pockets via qualitative research, right? So you have given us the chance to really understand consumer nuance backed up with data in a really, really fast manner that we can also track through time and understand how it has evolved since it has begun. So bringing you guys in our first stages of innovation, when we are discovering opportunities and where we're looking for those spaces where innovate and understand really what is bothering the consumer, what it's an unmet need, what it's a job that we could do better. that information is always gold, and it's now being used as a staple in our process, even understanding the size of a population, the different trends, the nuanced extremes, the attitudes, the empathy. It is so rich that it's really hard to get that level of detail in such an early stage of the innovation process. So you've been a massive help for us to uncover those human truths in a really, really speedy but also thorough manner, which I think it makes the perfect balance of data quality, data empathy, but also speed. I could think of a lot of things, but you're right. You know, part of our methodology toolkits include different and diverse methods and agencies. A few things that come to my mind on why you hold a really special place within our toolkit. I mentioned before that flexibility in terms of outputs and discussions and different ways to approach problems. When you work in an innovation process, you want your vendors, you want your partners to kind of like operate in a similar way that you do, right? So the way we operate is in sprint modes, in hypothesis building, in poking problems from different angles, and your capacity as a partner to be able to emulate that and to act like another member of our team is incredibly appreciated, and it's not very common, as most of the platforms of technology are designed certain way. They have their limitations in the back end, and there's not much that you could flex sometimes. And with you is the opposite. We develop a really nice way of working where instead of creating tons of reports and final deliverables, we start doing co-creation sessions, brainstorming, even having discussions about the inputs and outputs to better respond to our business question, but also in an agile and iterative way. So that is one. You know, that flexibility of how we interact and how we work is very important. The second is the combination of the data versus the lens of the anthropologist. And I think that's where the magic happens. To be able, yes, we get a lot of data, we get a lot of numbers, but also having that translation into what a human will say about it, it's something that is really, really valuable. That again, we don't have to compromise between the quanta, the qual, or lose the nuance because it's just a number. It brings that perfect sauce or perfect combination of being able to have the best of both worlds. And the last one, and is one of the things that I've been always very proud, is that in a world where technology is moving super fast and everybody's getting into the hype of AI, you guys were very, very early on this in this journey. And it has also been great to see that despite the fact that you were one of the first, you keep evolving and you're still kind of like on the edge of the possibilities of what technology can do for us in terms of research. So those would be kind of like my big buckets of why you hold a really special place within our toolkit. At the start of every process of front-end innovation, the most important thing for us to understand is what is it that we're doing for the consumer? What is it that we are solving for humans, right? And getting to that level of detail or information is very hard. And sometimes it costs a lot of money. We it will be amazing if I could just go and sit into people's living rooms for 3 months and just understand and explore their habits, what they're thinking, what they're consuming. But that's not achievable. And it's less achievable that half of my organization can do that as well. We don't have, like I said, it's it's unrealistic, right? But there's ways to build empathy and there's ways to understand consumers that could help us get there faster. And by doing ethnographies, by leveraging what you guys do for us, it's a way to bring faster insights on really deep human truths that will, again, cost us time, money, and will be experiences that are limited to a few. With this technique, we're able to amplify those outcomes, to be able to really bring really quickly to the table hypotheses or really good hunches about where can we do something better, where there's an unmet need, where's an opportunity, but also it could be something that could be in the fingertips of everybody that we work with. So it gives access to that consumer learning and understanding to other members that usually will not be part of any of this face-to-face interactions or this face-to-face exercise. So is not just about, yes, it's quickly, yes, it's really quickly, and we love the speed, but it also creates volume and it amplifies that knowledge really, really quickly in a really thorough and database way, which is phenomenal. Another thing that I would say is it provides early signals that actually led to really good conversations about, wow, we didn't know about this, we didn't think people was not satisfied with XY. So it gives us as well some food for thought that we can either keep digging deeper within the tool, or go to other methods and have complementary points of view that will enrich in the insight and make the strategy more powerful. Another tough one. I'll start with the people. I think you have a brilliant team, very very talented, very smart people, but also extremely kind and extremely collaborative. I would say the responses, the quality of the work, the thinking conversations that we have are top notch, and I really really value my interactions with you. From framing briefing, they're very fun. They're really intellectual conversations, to all the way to seeing the results and being able to really understand what is in there, getting rounds of feedback, and again, like I mentioned at the beginning, to be part of that teamwork of iteration and pressure testing different versions of the truth. I think that's what I value most. If I think about you and I think about one word, I think you are visionaries. I think you were able to anticipate and understand something that was going to be extremely useful, but also you made it so easy and so user friendly. That is part of having a vision of how to deliver something that is not just phenomenal and super useful, but it's also really engaging with consumers. And again, you started this long ago, so we're not even, we haven't even seen of the future of what you guys are going to become. So yes, visionary.